Wow. 1-800-449-8255. And it's Clark the Shark Show. And I'm going to review one of rock and roll's most amazing albums that was ever recorded, produced by Todd Rundgren. This is the Fabulous Tubes, Remote Control. And you're on the Clark the Shark Talk radio show, 1-800-449-8255, baby. And this album, Remote Control, has to be one of Clark the Shark's all-time favorites because sort of like Pete Townsend, on the Who by Numbers and It's Hard and Who Are You and all that, there's this little guy, downtrodden, man down on his luck thing going on Remote Control with Fee Waybill and the Fabulous Tubes. And I can't describe for you how much I love Remote Control by the Tubes. Now, there were 3 Tubes albums and a live album before this album. And they're all killer, man. All of it is so awesome. But, you get hints of it on the Tubes now, their 3rd album, of this downtrodden thing. It kind of floats along in themes on the first 2 albums. But if you're like a little 5'6" pale white guy, it's hard to make friends. You grow up in a family that hates you, a dad that ignores you, and all that. You're just one of those guys, man, drinking. You're already an alcoholic by the time you're 15, kind of guy. Kind of like Clark the Shark at 1-800-449-8255, the Clark the Shark Show. And these lyrics on this album and this whole concept, this rock opera theme by the Tubes, Remote Control, is just so brilliant and amazing. And really what's bizarre is their record label dropped the Tubes, I believe right after this album. And of course, the Tubes then went and recorded the Completion Backward Principle, with the guy from Toto or Steve Lukather or whatever. And that album isn't as good as Remote Control. In fact, the Tubes are never really this good ever again. And before this album, I would say the Tubes were never this good. This is like the Tubes version of Quadrophenia by The Who. I'm telling you, man, the Tubes Remote Control is amazing for the lyrics and for the progressive rock play. The keyboards, Prairie Prince is just an amazing drummer. All of the guys, all 8, 9, whatever, 10 of them are in top form on this album. There are so many people in the Tubes. The Tubes is like a city. It's not a band. It seems like there's 50 people in the Tubes. And of course, their live show back in the 70s was just amazing, where they just had all this shit going on stage. But then on this album, they kind of swept aside a lot of that, and they made a committed, serious album that's still really funny and really ironic. It's kind of like Frank Zappa meets The Who, but mixed with like Genesis or something. I mean, it's a trip, man, and it's heavy, man. They could give any hard rock metal band or any prog band, Yes, King Crimson, ELP, or Genesis, or I don't care who, man. They could give any rock and roll band a run for their money. That's how amazing the Tubes are with Remote Control. One of Clark the Shark's most favorite albums at 1-800-449-8255. And this album seems to set up its own matrix, like Fee Waybill and the Tubes are questioning everything. Like, why is God putting us all through this simulation? Like, we're all in a matrix where, why doesn't he just make it heaven, man? Like, why do we gotta go through tests, and why do we gotta go through the playoffs to win the Stanley Cup? And, people get eliminated and only the best get to the top, man. It just, when all we want is we all want to be equal. We all want to be happy in heaven where everything's a nonstop, full time orgasm of love and peace. And I don't think another band ever captured that question like Fee Waybill and the Tubes, Remote Control. And Vince Welnick, God rest his soul, man, he had all those mental issues and he took his own life. And I'm really sad and bummed out at Vince for doing that. But I kind of understand, man. When you got mental illness, it's sad. At 1-800-449-8255, the Clark the Shark Show. And, you know, a lot of people say Clark the Shark is full of shit, and I never know what I'm talking about, and I don't do my research or something. But when it comes to the Tubes Remote Control, baby, oh, baby, Clark the Shark knows everything about this album and why this album connects on so many levels with the little lonely guy. He can't get chicks. He can't get friends. He can't get respect. He can't hold on to a job. People yell at him. Whole rooms of real men point the finger at that little guy in the corner. It's all his fault. It's all Clark the Shark's fault at 1-800-449-8255. But I got a sanctuary, baby, called Fee Waybill, my big brother, and the Tubes. My friends for life, Vince Welnick, all of them. Every one of these incredible guys, Rick Anderson on bass, who just died a couple weeks ago. And I'm going to break down this amazing album that sounds like the 1980s, but it was released in 1979. And it should get all 5 stars. And not enough people know about or talk about this incredible album that just lays it all out so true. It just nails reality. It just, oh man. Turn me on 'cause I need it now. Turn me on 'cause I don't know how.